Hey guys, it's Nicole, and I'm here with a kind of a different video. I was trying to decide what I wanted to do because I was kind of tired of working with kids and I wanted to just do something different. So what I decided to do is to grab one of my old projects that I've been having sitting around for a long time and decided to finish it. So I think I talked about this before in the past video that I couldn't tell you for sure which one. And I don't have like a pre-kit video to show you, but I'm going to show you what I have left over and kind of explain what I did here, and then show you it's a full album basically. So I had made this mini album a while back of a vacation that my husband and I had taken to California, and it was really cute, but it was huge. Like I did a bunch of misting on it and used some old like making memories vacation paper, and it was pretty cute, except unlike now where it's like this nice cute album, this thing was ginormous because it had all the photos in it, and I never pulled it out to look at it. Every time I looked at it, it bugged me. I didn't like the pictures were like, you know, bent, and it just did not look good. Well, it was a cute album, it just wasn't working for me. So I decided to re-scrapbook all the pictures in just regular layouts. And so I took this apart, and so I will be throwing this away. And now I've done another one of these albums or something similar with my husband's 40th party, and it turned out thick too, but it wasn't nearly as bad. But these are albums, and these are, I don't know, I don't even know what brand this is, Price 7 Gypsies. It's really hard to work with because they have this type of binding, you can only go so thick. And so even if you put just something little on each page, you're still too thick for the bindings. They didn't really think that through when they put these albums together. So anyway, it was cute, but I think I'll enjoy looking at the pictures much more now and the way I have it done now. So I'm going to be throw that away. I did salvage almost all the embellishments. There's a few ribbons and stuff I didn't, but almost all the embellishments I did salvage, and I used 90% of them on the pages. So the only thing that's really going to waste truly is some rub-ons, some paper, and this mini album. So I generally don't encourage people to redo their things. I really don't. Like I had taken apart my very first scrapbook album and redid scrapbooking some of the pictures, and I regretted that ever since because that was my first scrapbook album, and now I've kind of ruined it. And I stopped doing it about halfway through, and so I still have, you know, part of it, but part of scrapbooking too is to also go back and look at how you used to scrapbook. And so I don't encourage you to do that, but that particular album just drove me nuts every time I looked at it. And it was one of those things where I love the photos from it because they're beautiful photos, and they're photos of me and my husband. Like I'm actually in some of them, and so I wanted to scrapbook them differently. So I basically used just Fancy Pants As You Wish paper line. And so I know you don't have a kit to see what I started with, but I had the paper, all the stickers, you know, all the embellishments that Fancy Pants, if you're familiar with Fancy Pants, has the small tags, the little tags, the flare, buttons. You see they had like frames and then Project Life cards. So the only thing I added in was these letter stickers, which I just used once. And then these were leftovers from the mini album. They were just the leftovers that I didn't get used up. So those probably go back into my vacation stash because the buttons will go with the buttons, but the vacation themed stuff will go in my vacation stash. I did pull in these as well from my stash, so I used up about 2/3 of those. And then I used up all of these stickers, except for this one, but I don't really like it, so I'm just going to toss it. And then I used, don't want that. Oh, it's getting stuck. Then I used up, 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets of embellishments. These are, I think, probably the flare, the buttons. What else did I have on here? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, so 4 packages gone. And these are just my leftovers. So I added in some wood veneers also from my stash, and I used about half of them. These were left over from the mini album. I used a couple. I'll just put those away. I used a little bit of the roll of tickets. I got quite a bit of that left. And then this is just what I have left over from the smaller bits and pieces from like the ephemera pack. More tickets there. And leftover pieces from the original album. So as you can see, if you can imagine pulling embellishments out from an entire album, plus all the embellishments from a paper line. That's not very much to have left. And then this is all the larger items. And I just didn't really use the library cards, and I didn't use the envelopes too much, some of the Project Life cards. And then just a couple more little pieces. And then here's from the sheets. I have most of these used up, and then I have most of the letters or the words used up. But these will just go back into my stash. And as you can see, there's absolutely no paper. I literally used the very last piece of scrap paper on the very last page that I did. I used it all. So let me move this out of the way and I'll show you my albums. So I pretty much used up that entire paper line, which is awesome. And I got an entire album done. And I normally don't do like albums like this using all one paper line. That usually bores me to death. I've done it a few times. But this just worked out well, and it was easy and it was fast. Like I got most of it done like today and a little bit last night. So it was really a fast album simply because I just limited my supplies, and the supplies just happened to match, the vacation really well. So here's the album, and, I had just this leftover picture from the beach. So I just put that in this front here. And I'm sorry, they're going to be in page protectors. I know that there's glare, but I can't take them all out. I had to put them in because I did use divided page protectors throughout the album, so I needed to kind of measure, and I still ended up one page off, but I think I remedied that. And I think I also have some ephemera that I need to find and add in here, so I'll add that in later. So here's, some of you may recognize this. I think I've showed some of these pages before, because I had a few of these, I think I had 3 or 4 pages of this done, and then it's been like a year or so since I've worked on it, but this is just the beginning, so you can kind of get an idea for the color scheme. I think all this is fancy pants, so you can just kind of see it's very travel themed, and yeah, the line was called As You Wish, and so since it was my birthday vacation, that was perfect, and the colors were perfect for California. So anyway, I'm not going to go into too much explanation because I don't want to take forever, but I just want to show you how this came out. So here's just where I scrapbooked about the room. I'd taken some pictures of the room, and in the hotel. And so those are the 3 pages I'd had done for a long time. And then, so this is kind of where I started with these last few, 3 or 4 days. So here, another photo of the view from our hotel of the beach, and just, layers of paper and embellishments. Oh, I used up all of those. And the tickets, and then the die cuts, some of the stickers, and then this is from the original mini album. So just a good variety. Here's just the only place I use those. I might use them one more other time. But there we go. Oh, and then I also used, this is the title of the mini album, and so I took them off. I peeled them off and then put them down here because they weren't going to work on the front because of the colors. But okay. So I still feel like I used up most of the supplies, which is good. So here's this one, and again, and I think I may have added these in from Studio Calico. I don't think those are fancy pants. There's like 3 or 4 of them throughout the album. I think I had added into this kit. This is from the original mini album. I just pulled off and reused it, as well as this, and then the rest of it is from the kit. Fancy pants, that's from, those were wood veneers I'd pulled in. That's fancy pants. And then a bunch of the buttons. I had a lot of buttons in that mini album, so I just kept them on my table and used them up. And the camera stickers there. And I spotted with some different Heidi Swap mists throughout, depending on the color scheme. So, and there's this one. And here I pulled in the tickets from the whale watching tour that we had taken. And I just pulled those out of the album. And then just did the photo and I used some of the ribbon that was in the album. And I think the rest of this is from the kit. So I used some wood veneers, some buttons. That was from the album. And then some of the tickets and tags. And here's my first divided page protector that went along with this photo over here. And some of the pictures coming up didn't fare so well. They didn't do horrible, but some of them Some of the backing tore off, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell, but some of the pictures look a little bit wrinkled. Anyway, so here's just some picture, you know, I taken a ton of pictures of the dolphins and the whales, and I didn't use scrapbook every single individual photo. So I used one of the Project Life cards here, and then another one on the back because they weren't double-sided. So this is actually, I think, a scrap piece of paper, and then I layered a 2x3 card, or 3x4 card on there, and then just did some embellishing there. And then these were originally on the photos, and I just left them because, again, the colors matched just fine. So I left those little descriptions on the photos. And another layout from that same area, so they're all together. And this kind of sandwiches between the two layouts about that particular part of our trip. So this was just a photo of my husband on the whale watching tour, and just kind of pulled in like the blues and yellows and or the golds and the creams, and used some of this corrugated paper, which came with the Fancy Pants line. There were 2 pieces of corrugated paper and 1 piece of gold paper. So, and I used all of it, every little bit. I don't think I even pulled in any paper from my stash either. I think I truly just used the paper from the Fancy Pants line, and that was it. And this, we're having these tickets because they're in a roll. Make it really hard to, I glue them down like crazy and they still pop up. I don't know what the deal is. How do I have this here? Okay, that's all right. So this one, there were a lot of bicycles in the kit, and this is like the only opportunity to use them. So I used like 3 of them, you know, and then like the ticket that said that. Anyway, this was kind of fun. I just have 2 photos, and I framed one of them with one of the frames. I think I used all but maybe one of the frames. I need to re-glue some stuff down, apparently. These are falling apart, the little flags are. Anyway, so this is a mixture. Like I have this, and these were from the original mini album, and I think everything else is from the paper line. So, okay. And this one here, just pictures of our next hotel room in Laguna Beach, and again, these tickets like to pop up. And just layered, like I used one of the pockets here and put the hotel room keys in there. I had done that in the very first hotel too. And then just layered buttons and tickets and papers. And then I titled with the gold letters, and I used a flare here and some of the pieces from the original mini album there, and there. It was a darker, like the first room was really bright and colorful, and the second room was more like blues and browns, and so I kind of changed the tone of the papers a little bit. And then this one here is another one, and here I just did 2 photos and had 2 cards, layered a little bit of a pattern paper underneath there, and then just kind of embellished in 3 spots there, except for adding in that little word embellishment there. I did pop dot these, and then I used 3 of the camera clips there, and just one of the wood veneers, and journaled on both cards. So real simple. I kept it pretty simple. Most of these pages I just kind of slapped things down and called it good. So this was on the background of the paper, so I actually just used it as part of the design and layered 2 photos. And some photos I had to layer certain ways because they had things layered on them in the mini album, and so they had adhesive on them. So I kind of had to layer, you know, had some choices were made for me, basically. Here I just added one of the frames on top of the photo just to focus on my husband and I. And then I just layered, again, a bunch of tags and stickers. There's like stickers there. Some of the tickets, die cuts, another tag. So there's that one. And then there's this one, which is again really simple, just a photo on a piece of paper and then a card. This is actually a pocket, but I just use it as a layering element. And then 3 tags, a flare, and then just a little embellishment cluster here with a wood veneer, a sticker, and a button. Okay. This one I'm not a huge fan of, but is one of those I just had to kind of let go and call it good. Again, because I had adhesive issues on some of them, and I wanted them to all be on one page. And I'm kind of in the point now where I'm like, I'm starting to get ready to be done with this album, but I just want to finish it kind of thing. And so I just layered just a bunch of papers and tags, and these fabric embellishments were from the original mini album. So I got a couple of those used. There's actually one down here as well, just the bottom piece of one. Just layered and journaled, just a bunch of different stuff. I don't know, it just isn't my favorite. I don't know. This one is probably one of my favorites. I love this one. I used the craft corrugated paper, and I think that really helped the colors in the photo pop out. And just layered. Again, I'm also starting to get really low on pattern on paper, basically, and I really did not want to pull in any more from my stash. So I just grabbed some strips and a couple tags, a flare, and then I just titled it with the gold stickers, and then just used a bunch of the different stickers to have to do words that went along with the photo. And then I splattered it with gold, how you swaps gold. And then this has a divided page protector to go with it, just a couple more pictures of the same, evening. And then I just did a 4x6 card with a tag and a flare and another little sticker, and then just journaled over here. And then here's where I start our Hollywood, Beverly Hills part of the trip, where we did, hung out there and just toured around there. And so here's the deal with these. I have this huge stack of photos. This is back before my SLR, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, maybe I did have it. I don't remember. Anyway, no, I did. It was new to me. I had just gotten it. But anyway, I basically took all these photos of all these celebrities' houses and these famous places from movies. And then I didn't write any of it down because I just thought I would probably scrapbook it sooner than I did. Well, so now I have all these photos of all these, and some of them I'll remember and some of them my husband will remember. So what I decided to do is just to use divided page protectors and just put them in here. And then down the road, if my husband or if I look something up or he remembers, I'll just do like a little label that says this was, Sylvester Stallone's house or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's house or whatever. So anyways, I start here with just some general pictures of Beverly Hills, Hollywood, just because that's kind of our next part of the trip. And then here I write that down. I kind of write, okay, here's where we started, here's what we did, here's why I don't know what any of these pictures are. And then here, this was, I think, from Studio Calico. And this is where I started to use that gold paper because I thought that went really well with Hollywood. So I just layered this over that. And some pictures of the Grauman's Chinese Theater. And then over here, just again, some pictures from that general area. And then here I just start getting into just all of the random pictures of Hollywood and Beverly Hills. And they're just simply like a photo album. They're just in here. So I can look through them. And then if I say, oh yeah, I remember that was so-and-so's house, or, then, or if my husband remembers, then I can put that in. Like, I know one of these is like Tom Cruise's house, and I took a picture of the house with the paparazzi outside of it. And, because he was actually home. And so I think if I look through these really specifically, I might be able to remember some of that stuff. But for now, I just wanted to get them in here. And I did a mixture, so I here, these are all vertical ones, and I intermix them with the horizontal ones, and did that. So, I've, one here that's all, this little one here is all Rodeo Drive. I did recognize those. And then, so here I'm kind of getting back into the scrapbooky part of it. I was missing, I had one open spot here, so I just used pattern paper, or no, this is a card, and then I had that from my original album, and I put that on there just because of the film strip, movies type of theme. And then I did do a layout for the Ivy, which is, we did drive by that and took pictures of the Ivy, which is a popular place where celebrities usually, eat a lot. And this isn't my favorite one either. Again, I'm getting really limited on supplies, but I like the diamond paper just because I thought the diamonds went along well with the Hollywood theme. And again, I'm just kind of pulling from scraps. But I use some tags, use this here. There's nothing in there. It's just going to be, maybe down the road I'll add something to it, but use a wood veneer here and some of the gold paper I wanted to get on there. I'm sorry guys, I'm not really paying attention to the glare, so I hope it's not too horrible. And then this one is actually like the Hollywood Hills. The tour stopped, and we were able to get out and take pictures. And so these are two of my favorite pictures from the trip, just because they're like, I was in them. And a lot of times I look at my pictures and I'm like, ew, but they were actually decent pictures of me for once. I wanted to get these on the scrapbook page. And then I have my husband there as well, and just embellished around. I didn't care for this paper a lot, but then it felt like a lot of the tour, you know, was like old Hollywood themed, and so I was okay with using it. It was part of the pack, but I needed a good neutral for the background, and that seemed to work the best. So again, I limited myself, and it turned out just fine. So not bad at all. So there's that one, and then another divided page protector here, and here I just did a card and did some journaling and some embellishing there, and then some more photos from that on the back here. And then here's our picture of us when we got home, and picture of my girls. I framed the girls, and just this is basically all the leftovers that I had to use here. And then this is where my dilemma was, because I had these individual photos. They had decorated our house for my birthday. Like, they had a cake waiting for me and all these cards, and they had decorated some banners and put them up on our walls. And then I had this original journaling from my original album, and then I had this list that I had made when I was preparing for the trip. And so I wanted to keep those in here. So I used this page protector to do that in, but then that meant I had this guy empty. So here I just put this card that says, "You are my true north," just because it's like we're back home, we're back to our real life, our real, you know, love, and just I'm going to call that good. If I know I think I might have some more ephemera from this vacation somewhere. And if that's the case and I find some more, then I might just tuck that in here somehow, or maybe make this a pocket or something. I'll figure it out. But for now, it's good. I'm okay just having it like that, because it kind of transitions into we're back home and life is good kind of thing. So here I just use that last little, I don't know what you call those. Anyway, said you were great, and then round trip ticket again, just with the theme of being home. And this is actually 2 pieces of paper glued together. You can't really tell. I seamed it here, so this is covering the seam. And because I was that low on paper, like this is my last little piece of paper, it'll itty bitty little piece that I used up on that, which actually worked out well because it matched that over here. So, and this stuff like this is fun. I usually always throw this stuff away, but I kept it, and I'm glad I did, because it's kind of fun to say, okay, what was in my mindset? Oh, the pack and play. Like, we don't own a pack and play anymore, but back then I had to remember, like, to get those in the high chair to you know, my sister and brother-in-law's house, and just whatever. So it was just kind of fun to go back and look at the things that I was having to prepare for, to have people watch our 2 girls, and then to pack our stuff and all the things that we had to do. So if you can keep your handmade lists, you know, keep those. That's always fun. So anyway, so that is my album, guys. I hope the glare wasn't too awful, and that you guys enjoyed it. I am happy to have this done. It's been sitting in my to-do bin for quite a while, and it was such a fun trip, that I'm glad I finally have it in an album where the pictures can be enjoyed, and I can look back, and I'll be 40 here soon. Before I know it, I can look back at my 30th birthday now and remember this great trip. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that, and I'll be back soon, probably later, to figure out what I'm doing next, if I want to do another kit or what's next on my scrappy agenda. So we'll be back soon. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.